On June 12, 2025, Air India Flight 171 departed from Ahmedabad aboard a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Within minutes of takeoff, it crashed catastrophically, killing 260 people, 241 on board and 19 on the ground. The tragedy sparked immediate global concern, but what truly stunned investigators was what the black box revealed. Both engine fuel control switches had moved from run to cutoff just seconds apart. This action completely shut down both engines at a critical phase of flight. The pressing question now is, was this a terrible mechanical error, or could it have been sabotage from inside the cockpit? The moment of failure. According to the preliminary report from India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau AAIB, Flight 171 lifted off normally and began to accelerate through 180 knots. Just moments later, both engines lost thrust. Investigators found that the engine fuel control switches had been moved from the run to the cutoff position 1 second apart. That caused both engines to shut down mid-climb. In the cockpit voice recording, one pilot asked, "Why did you cut off the fuel?" And the other replied, "I didn't." The AAIB could not immediately determine who made the move, or whether it was manual or accidental, but they did confirm that no external impact or failure caused the fuel cutoff. This rare occurrence, a simultaneous dual-engine shutdown, immediately raised red flags. The mechanical error theory. Some experts and aviation engineers believe the fuel switch movement may have been accidental, linked to a previously known mechanical vulnerability. In 2018, the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration (FAA) issued an advisory warning that some Boeing aircraft, including the 787 and 737, were equipped with fuel switch modules that had a faulty locking mechanism. This mechanism, called a locking gate, is meant to prevent accidental movement of the fuel switch. Normally, a pilot must lift the gate before the switch can be moved from run to cutoff. But if that mechanism is damaged or missing, even slight contact with the switch can toggle it. Although Boeing and the FAA warned airlines of this issue, the notice was categorized as non-mandatory. Air India, like many airlines, reportedly never completed the recommended inspection or replacement of the switch locking gates. Supporters of the mechanical failure theory believe a loose or defective locking gate might have allowed one or both switches to be flipped inadvertently, possibly by a pilot's arm, knee, or another object near the control pedestal. The sabotage or human error theory. But others aren't convinced this was an accident. The fact that both switches moved just 1 second apart is highly suspicious to many in the aviation community. It would be statistically improbable, if not impossible, for two mechanical switches to fail in perfect sequence without deliberate action. That has led to speculation that one of the pilots, possibly Captain Sumit Sabharwal, may have intentionally, or mistakenly, shut down the engines. One U.S.-based report, citing anonymous officials, suggested the captain may have moved the switches while the first officer was busy flying. This claim was widely circulated in the media and fueled by the vague phrasing in the voice recording. However, the AAIB has not confirmed these details and warned against premature conclusions. The Federation of Indian Pilots publicly condemned these theories, calling them reckless and unproven. They stressed that the AAIB's preliminary report made no assignment of fault and that the investigation is ongoing. Implications for safety and design. Whether the fuel switches were moved intentionally or not, the crash has exposed a serious vulnerability in cockpit design. If this was mechanical failure, it shows the flaw in allowing critical controls to depend on non-mandatory inspections. If it was deliberate, it raises urgent questions about pilot screening, mental health protocols, and in-flight video surveillance. Either way, experts agree that fuel switch placement, protection, and redundancy must be revisited industry-wide. Some engineers have already proposed software-based interlocks that would prevent simultaneous dual-engine cutoff without multiple confirmations. Others advocate for reinforced switch guards or relocating sensitive controls away from frequent body contact zones in the cockpit. These discussions are now gaining traction in Boeing and Airbus engineering forums globally. What happens next? The AAIB has said it will release a full final report, but not until late 2026. Until then, they are analyzing every second of cockpit data, maintenance records, and any possible outside interference. Boeing, too, is cooperating fully with investigators. They have recirculated the 2018 advisory and may consider making switch guard inspections mandatory if any pattern emerges from international operator data. The crash of Air India Flight 171 is not just a tragedy, it's a mystery that continues to haunt the aviation world. The fuel switches didn't just shut off by themselves. Understanding how and why this happened is not just about blame, it's about preventing the next disaster. If you found this breakdown insightful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more real investigations into aviation safety and the stories that shape our skies.